is Dr. Avi Charlton.
And I'm Carla Carter. And I'd like to introduce Dr. Avi as a GP, a speaker, best-selling author of this amazing book, podcast host, and thought leader in lifestyle medicine. She's a founder of Melbourne Low Carb Clinic and Breathe in Health, where she helps people reverse chronic conditions and improve their well-being.
Thank you, Carla. So Carla and I work together. Carla is the founder of Keto by Design. She's a nutritionist with psychology training, and she helps me with our metabolic makeover program, and we package it together and work together and help me with supporting people holistically, not just talking about food, keto, but lots of other things as well, especially about lifestyle.
Yeah, we're going to go through a whole lot of that today.
So why we are so passionate about this is that we found there's lots of problems in our modern society in terms of people are busy and they might have health problems. They go to the doctors and the doctors just want to give them a pill, give them something quick fix, and they do want quick fix and injections, weight loss, and even weight loss like diets and shakes. So I think it's a big problem and we're not really looking into lifestyle. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really important to just realize quite how bad the state of the world is in terms of metabolic health. There's one study that showed that 93% of people had at least one poor metabolic health marker. So that's things like blood pressure and glucose and things like that. So that basically means that the majority of people are walking around with at least one health marker that is, far from ideal and could be helped by lifestyle. So medication is great in its place, but what we love to talk about the most is prevention, as well as even putting conditions like diabetes into remission. We've both seen people who come in, with all these medical conditions that, Avi can take them off medications and revolutionize their lives. So we're really passionate. We've got our own health journeys as well. Do you want to say about your journey and how you got to talk about lifestyle?
Yeah. So my health journey just taken me from a normal GP to now I'm a lifestyle GP, because I like to talk about lifestyle first. So I've been a GP for 20 years, which is a very long time, and I've worked in mostly one clinic for the last 20 years, seeing babies become teenagers, which is pretty amazing journey by itself. So what happened was about 10 years ago, my kids were little. I've got maybe a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I was juggling motherhood and looking after toddlers, going to work as a GP, as well as just doing everything. Then I found myself really tired, overweight, just too much going on. One day a patient came in and I was just doing a normal prescription, and she asked me, Avi, are you having a third baby? I said, no, oh my God, I'm not pregnant. I've had 2 kids already, to my 2 beautiful boys, and I'm done. So I was quite devastated that this lady thought I was pregnant. I was floored, devastated, wanted to hide into a hole, and she was embarrassed too. But that sparked me that I really need to take a bit of in charge of my own journey. I can't be talking to patients and telling them to eat less, move more when I have bit overweight. So I looked into lifestyle, joined a gym, and looked into diet. I did a body transformation challenge with my local gym, and the gym had me on a spreadsheet, how much protein, how much fat, how much carb I had to eat. And after 8 weeks, I won the challenge, achieved my goal weight, lost a bit of belly, and got much more energy to tackle my toddlers, which is normally lots of activity. So I looked into lifestyle and looked into how I need to learn more about nutrition and help my patients to eat better foods and not just the old paradigm of eat less, move more. Just doesn't work. So that's my personal journey of how I went from a normal GP, giving antibiotics, blood pressure tablets, diabetes tablets, to talking about you need to look into how your body works, eating good, healthy foods, and moving your body, looking into sunlight. So all those things we're going to talk about in 5-10 minutes when Carla tells you about her journey herself.
So my journey started with weight loss. That's where I started, with low carb, and I did lose weight, and that was great. But for me, the biggest, most amazing thing is that I've got fibromyalgia, and I discovered that when I went low carb, things really started to improve. When I actually went into a ketogenic diet, which is an even more sort of extreme version of low carb, my life literally revolutionized. Like, I can't even tell you the difference. So when I had really bad fibromyalgia, I was in pain all day, every day. I was dealing with 2 kids, both with special needs. I felt disabled. I was like, I'd sit down and wonder if I'd be able to get up again. I would wonder if I could put my shoes on. I couldn't use a hairdryer because it was too heavy to lift that far above my head. I couldn't sleep. I was stressed. I was in pain. I was just a mess. And I've done a lot of different things, and we'll talk about a whole bunch of lifestyle things. But for me, the biggest piece of the puzzle was nutrition. So I went from being a vegetarian to eating many more animal foods, which I think made a massive difference. And I cut out all the sugar, all the refined carbohydrates, and just started eating real whole food. And it literally revolutionized my life. And it was funny because after I started, every few months, I'd suddenly think, oh, that pain I had there, that I think was a bit of arthritis in my finger, it's suddenly gone. Oh, that eczema I had, oh, it's gone. Oh, that hay fever I used to get really badly every year, oh, it's gone. Like, there were just so many things over and over again that I just kept discovering that, hang on a second, I haven't had that. I haven't felt that. And now, like, I just feel like a fully functioning normal human being. And I really prioritize my health because I know what it feels like to not be healthy. And so I'm extremely passionate about helping other people. And we both deal with all sorts of people who, they might have fibromyalgia, they might have diabetes, they might have mental health issues. Like, there's a whole range of people who can be helped with lifestyle. And so, we just love making a difference and changing people's lives just with basic things like food and movement and breathing and sun. So, that's my story.
It's terribly rewarding because people come in to see me and they maybe just want to lose weight. But I give them a plan. I draw up a bit of a guideline on what you should do. So improving your nutrition, getting some movement in, stress management, optimizing your sleep, and maybe some people have some addictions. So many conditions can be improved. People lose weight, and some of them really don't want injections and weight loss medications. I do prescribe them in some instances, but a lot of them don't need it because they start to eat healthy and their body gets better. And some people can also optimize their stress level because the modern lifestyle is just so much on the go. We have deadlines where you have to go from one place to another, drop off pickups, and I do it myself, like too many things going on. And learning how to manage your nervous system, slowing down, taking a breath, and Carla's really good at talking about breathing, breathwork. That's all part of the things that we talk about.
And don't you find as well, like, people might come to you for weight loss, but then they're like, oh my God, I'm sleeping better. Oh my God, I've got so much energy. Like, there's so many other things. I had someone say to me the other day that they had a phobia about something, and suddenly they could do the thing that they could never do, like, because they changed their diet. Like, it's mind blowing. I'm constantly mind blown by all the things that can change just from a few simple lifestyle habits.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote my book called Prescribing Lifestyle last year, and I've worked on 6 pillars of lifestyle that I like to work on, and one pillar will interact with another, and they all interact with each other. So we're going to share with you our tips on how to manage the 6 pillars of lifestyle. So you can take on bits and pieces, and you might look into a bit further and dig on this rabbit hole, and maybe you want to look into stress, and maybe you need to look into addictions. So the 6 pillars of lifestyle that I put into my book is: number 1, nutrition and food. Number 2 is movement and exercise. Number 3 is sleep and circadian rhythm. Number 4 is stress management. Number 5 is community support. And number 6 is understanding addictions. So we're going to give you some tips on each of them So you can keep looking in, and you can keep learning, and being curious is so important to optimize your own health. So first of all, we're going to talk about nutrition. Give us some 101 on how healthy nutrition should be.
So I guess the most important thing, and this might sound obvious, but eat real whole food. Like if you look at it and it comes from a plant or an animal, you know it's food. If it's in a packet and it's got numbers and it's got 25 ingredients, it's really not what I would consider food, because food is supposed to nourish you. So it sounds simple, but it's actually harder than you think. And then looking at how foods affect your blood glucose is really important. So it's not just someone with diabetes that needs to worry about this, because we all have those glucose roller coasters throughout the day where, if you have breakfast, especially if it's high in carbohydrates, then your glucose level goes up and then it crashes. And then you have that mid-morning, oh, I'm tired, I need, the coffee, I need the snack. And then the same thing happens. You have lunch, glucose goes up, crashes down, mid-afternoon, you're like, oh my God, why am I so tired? So this is what's become normal. Everybody, people even have a term, hangry, like I'm hangry. It's like, no, your glucose is just all over the place. So basically in the body, what happens is that when you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks it down into glucose. So even like a piece of white bread is really just sugar in disguise. It's savory sugar. It's just glucose molecules attached to each other. So very quickly in the body that turns into sugar. Then because the glucose level has to be quite narrow, like there's a range that's quite narrow that will keep you alive basically, the body knows how important it is to keep it within that range. So insulin comes along and takes the excess glucose out of the blood and puts it in the cells. And in a normal, healthy person, this is fine. This happens all day, every day, up and down, it's fine. But over time, if we eat too many carbohydrates and too much sugar, then we have too much of the up and down. We have a lot of what we call reactive hypoglycemia, which is when you have so much glucose that it goes up and the body produces too much insulin, so it then crashes below normal, and that's when you can feel a bit jittery and shaky and like if I don't eat something I'm going to die type of feeling. That's actually low blood glucose. So what we find in the long term is that when you have lots of high insulin over and over and over again, your body becomes desensitized to it. So it's basically like, oh, insulin, go away. I've heard enough about you. You're just yelling at me all the time. It's like, if I talk to you quietly and then I yell, you'll listen to me. But if I yell at you all the time, you'll just go, oh, there she goes again. It's the same with insulin. So basically, over time, people become insulin resistant, and that is the precursor to diabetes. And along that journey, there's, it's linked in with things like obesity and heart disease and all sorts of other diseases and conditions, plus feeling really crappy and having no energy and not sleeping well and all the things that we want to improve. So what you eat is of massive importance, and not everybody has to be on a ketogenic diet like me. That is a therapeutic thing because the ketones themselves are anti-inflammatory and have benefits. So that for me is really useful. But for the average person who doesn't need to do that, all we're suggesting is that you modify how much carbohydrates you have. You have them in whole food form. You're not having sugar and refined carbohydrates, because they're the things that spike the glucose and the insulin and cause all the damage in the long term. So like I said at the beginning, just eat real whole food as it was intended by nature.
And insulin resistance isn't a talked about condition because most doctors don't actually test the insulin. They test diabetes when you are diabetic. Then you will show up that you have high sugar. But if I test the fasting insulin, I can actually tell you if your insulin's high years before you become a diabetic. So I can warn you many, many years before you become a diabetic, especially those with a bit of belly fat, or they're tired, if their skin tag, or their triglycerides a bit high and the good cholesterol is not high enough. Those are the things that tells me that your body might not be functioning properly. You might be increasing risk of diabetes. You might be insulin resistant. You might be producing a whole lot more insulin and your body's not listening to it and becoming insulin resistant. Also increases your risk of inflammation, aches and pains, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, gout, overweight, just obesity, diabetes, so many conditions that increases the risk of. So I do a whole lot more metabolic testing than a normal GP would, and there's Medicare will just strangle me. But I think it's important to warn our patients that there's a lot of things you can do way before you become having chronic conditions.
Yep.
So that's about nutrition, and we both like to talk about eating real food, less carbohydrates if you can. Just for reference, the standard Australian diet is 200 to 300 grams of carbs a day. So we suggest a low carb, which is less than 100 or less than 50 grams, still having some carbs, but a lot more protein and healthy fats. And ketogenic's less than 20. Again, not many people, not everyone needs to be ketogenic, but it can be a very good therapeutic carbohydrate restriction for conditions like fibromyalgia, mental health condition, cancer, even Alzheimer's disease, which can be anti-inflammatory, less hungry, and help people weight loss as well.
Yep.
So our second pillar is about sleep, because sleep is so important, and if you sleep better, you can eat better and make better decisions on choosing the right foods. And there are studies showing that if you don't sleep well, you are actually choosing much not as good foods, not the wrong foods, the things that you crave. So we're both really interested in circadian rhythm, optimizing sleep, because we both went on a retreat and it was amazing to learn about circadian rhythm and sleep. Tell us what you know about circadian rhythm, Carla.
So basically our body has got clocks all through it in all your organs, and your body is really, really clever. So it gets signals from its environment as to what time it is, and it tells all those body clocks what time it is so that they can produce the right hormones at the right time. So if we were cave people living back in the day where everything was natural and there were no artificial lights and so on, we'd be outside getting sunlight in our eyes throughout the day, from when the sun rises to when the sun sets. So when we go outside and we see the sunrise, our body knows, based on the quality of the light, based on the angle of the light, what time it is. So we're telling ourselves throughout the day, if we spend, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes a few times a day going outside, we're communicating to our body what time it is. So people think that melatonin is produced at the end of the day, and it's only what you do at the end of the day that matters. But actually, getting sunlight first thing in the morning is actually setting your body up to produce that melatonin. So it's what you do all day that matters. So what we need to do is, we love the sun, but we don't want you to get burnt. So obviously you still need to be aware of skin cancer risk, but they've done plenty of studies that show that actually the benefits of getting more sun outweigh the negatives. So it's just about sensible sun exposure. I personally always get out first thing in the morning, see the sunrise, at least 10 minutes, more if I've got time, and I'll do my breathing at the same time, I'll be grounding at the same time, I'll, just kind of get a whole bunch of things all for, 10 minutes. It's like a great deal. And then throughout the day, just, if you're having a break from work, just go for a 5-minute walk. Just, even worst case scenario, open a window, because the sunlight, like the light will come through the window, but not all the rays will come through the window. So obviously vitamin D is very important, but there's so much more to the sun than that. There are so many other elements to the sun that will help, inflammation and pain and, and sleep, obviously, and vitamin D and, all sorts of things. Like, there's just so many different things. Even heart disease is linked to sun exposure negatively, as in, like, it's good to get the sun. And so really what we need to do is get the sun throughout the day, but then in the evening, what we want to do is not tell our body that it's the middle of the day. Because if you're looking at a phone, an iPad, TV, whatever, that's blue light. Also, all these LEDs, they're blue light. Normally in nature, blue light would be highest in the middle of the day. So you're literally telling your body, even though it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm under these lights, you're telling your body it's midday. So your body gets really confused. It's not going to produce melatonin because it thinks it's the middle of the day. So it's really important in the evening to dim the lights as much as you can. Use lamps if you can instead of overhead lights. You can buy red light lamps because the red light block doesn't have any blue light. You can wear blue blocking glasses, which are like just glasses with an orange tinge so that the blue light doesn't get into your eyes. You can turn your phones onto red color at night so that you're not getting the blue light. Ideally, don't look at screens at all for at least an hour or more before bed. So there's all these little things that we can do, and you don't have to do them all at once. But for me, I have noticed a massive improvement in my sleep just from wearing blue blocking glasses at night. So I look outside, as soon as the sun goes down, I pop them on. It's just, even if I go out, I take them with me. So it's just something I do as a habit now. And so I'm getting the light at the beginning of the day, throughout the day, and then at night, I'm not blasting myself with blue light. So I'm giving my body the correct signals all through the day so that it is telling my body what time it is. And that just makes everything work more efficiently because our body knows what time it is, or thinks it knows what time it is, and everything runs on clocks. So it's just, incredibly important for sleep.
Absolutely. And then optimizing sleep is another thing about the circadian rhythm, is going to bed roughly the same time every night and then waking up roughly the same time every morning. There's studies showing that jet lag, not jet lag, but shift workers have lots more chronic conditions. They are more likely to be metabolically not healthy. The body doesn't function properly. The little mitochondria in the cell may not be optimized, and they have high chance of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer. So shift workers are really not managing their lifestyle very good. And even if you're doing social jet lag, means that on weekend you sleep in a bit and you go to bed a bit later. Even social jet lag means you sleep in a bit and later bedtime. Those people have a bit more chances of chronic conditions as well. So more chances of obesity, diabetes, and even cancer as well. So it's really important, even on weekends, to go to bed roughly the same time every night and wake up about the same time in the morning, and then getting outside into the sunlight, exposing your eyes, making melatonin, and then getting outside middle of the day, get vitamin D, and then if you can get another sun break before the sun sets, that's even better. So I talk about getting outside little bits at a time. If you're white, don't burn yourself. If you've got dark skin, then you're a bit better to go outside.
But if you do have darker skin, then you need more sun in order to get the same benefits.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. And also I forgot to mention eating within daylight hours as well is really important, because that's another thing that will communicate to your body what time it is. So if we eat really late, insulin and melatonin actually compete with each other. It's actually really hard for the body to produce enough of both at the same time. So if you're eating late and producing insulin, your body will then automatically produce less melatonin. So you'll find it harder to sleep if you have a big late meal, which I'm sure you probably have all experienced in real life and not really understood why.
So we suggest to not eat for 3 hours before bedtime, which works better for intermittent fasting and get your gut a bit of a rest, to get a bit of a clean out, and then you can have anti-inflammatory effects from not eating, resting your gut, and
lowering that insulin for a really much longer period of time. Because normally what happens is people, they have breakfast and their insulin goes up, and then they have a snack and it goes up, and lunch, and it never goes down. Whereas what we're saying is have breakfast, it goes up, it comes back down, it has a break. You have lunch, it goes back down, you have a break, and dinner and a break, and then you have a big break overnight. But if you're snacking, having a late night snack as well, it's only when you're asleep. That's the only time your body gets a rest from insulin. So it's just not enough. You just need to have more breaks from insulin than that.
That's it, yeah. So eating meals, 3 meals a day, not snacking is great. Even 2 meals a day is great. And some people can actually do 1 meal a day.
Not every day forever.
Not every day.
No.
Some people can do that and can be a good therapeutic. I say once a week if you can, 1 meal a day, and that's a good clean out.
You do have to make sure you get enough protein though as well. So that's like what we kind of normally say is you prioritize the protein. That's kind of the main part of the meal. And then, and you eat it with the fat that it comes with. And then that will keep you satiated. And then you can add your low carb, veggies or carby veggies if you're having carbs as well. But that will keep you full so that you don't need to snack, because your blood glucose will be so much more stable. And that will help with sleep too. Because a lot of people wake up in the night because their blood sugar's low and they don't realize it's because they had cake for dessert. So like my mum actually did that a couple of times. She actually almost fainted. Like she woke up in the night and fell over. And I said, that's because you had dessert and pasta for dinner.
There you go. So the third pillar that we're gonna go through is stress management, because the modern lifestyle is stressful. It is hard, and there's things happen, and you can't predict it. Or maybe somebody died, and auntie may have just been told she's got cancer, and these things happen. So a lot of people say, I can't escape stress, but how you manage it is totally different. So managing stress is different to the stress that's coming at you. If you learn to manage and ways and tools that you can do to manage the stress, there may be some stress, someone died and someone gets sick, that come at you. You can learn to manage it better. So Carla and I talk about using tools so that we can practice when we're not stressed. So when we're stressed, we can take it out and we can practice it, such as breath work, mindfulness, journaling, gratefulness. So tell us about what you like gratefulness or journaling.
Yeah, I will talk about that, but if you don't mind, I just first want to say, I just want you to imagine the body and what it is, why it's making us stress. Like why, like stress is actually useful. It's actually trying to protect us. Like our body's not trying to hurt us. So if you go back to how we were in cave people days, if you're being chased by a wild animal, clearly you're going to be stressed, right? You're going to be breathing hard and fast. And that's why we talk about breathing so much, because if you're breathing slowly and deeply, you're communicating to your body that you're safe and that you're not being chased by a wild animal. But what's happening when you're breathing hard and fast? What else is happening? Your blood pressure is going up. Your body's producing its own glucose, even if you haven't eaten anything. Your blood is getting sticky so that if you're attacked, that you can heal better. Your cortisol's going up. Your adrenaline's going up. All these things are happening to keep you safe in the minute, right? But like Avi says, we've got all of these daily stresses. Like in today's world, we're always stressed. So we're constantly thinking we're being chased by a wild animal. So we don't want that. So we have to put into place all of these things that Avi was talking about. So breathing is a big one. But gratitude is an amazing one to really practice, because no matter what has happened in the day, there's always something to be grateful for. And our brain is designed to look for the negative because we want to stay alive, right? So it is designed to be like on the lookout. Okay, what is going to come and get me? What is going to make me, die right now? So what we have to do is rewire our brains to not just look for the negative, but to look for the positive. So if someone said to you, how was your day? And let's say you had, 5 good things happen and 5 bad things happen. You're more likely to say, oh my God, my day was terrible, and list the 5 bad things that happened and forget about the 5 good things. That's normal. That's your brain going, I'm looking out for danger. That's what I'm focusing on. So what we need to do is try and rewire that by focusing on the positives. So a really great thing you can do at the end of the day is to mentally go through your day kind of in a fast forward video, just looking for the good things. If you see something bad, skip over it, right? We're not interested in that. Delete, edit, out. But if you just look for the positives, and even on a day that you have had the worst day of your life, I guarantee you there will be something to be grateful for. Look for at least 3 things. It could be you were upset and someone gave you a hug. Someone let you in traffic. Somebody was kind to you, anything. It can be any little thing. It's the act of looking for the positives and feeling that gratitude that is going to help to rewire your brain. You can do it at the end of the day, like I said, with that little video, or like this morning, I just sat down, just looked at my garden and just kind of went, God, I'm so grateful I have such a beautiful garden. And then I thought, hey, I'm just going to sit here and just list all the things in my head that I'm grateful for, just cause, and just do that as much as you can. So, and that comes back to journaling as well. Journaling is a really good way to notice things. So if you're a pen paper type of person, you might want to write down the things that you're grateful for. Or you might want to write down the things in your health journey that are working or not working. If something's working and you've had a really good day and you're like, I ate well, I exercised, I did my breathing, I'm awesome, you can write that down. Hey, I had a great day, big star for me, like real pat on the back. If something happened that was maybe not right, that, you kind of think, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, rather than beating yourself up, how could I have done it differently? What can I learn from this so that next time I can do it differently? So, okay, I went to a party. I knew there was going to be crap food there. I should have probably eaten something beforehand so I wasn't starving and didn't eat 10 pieces of cake. Rather than beating yourself up, look for those little opportunities to, what can I do differently next time? Because no one ever got healthy by berating themselves. Like, treat yourself like your own best friend, not like someone that you have the permission to yell at, because that's what we normally do. And breathing. I'll let Avi talk about breathing, because that's your thing.
Yeah. So I learned a whole lot about breathing a couple of years ago, and I am actually a breathwork facilitator, because I dived into learning about breathing better, slow down breathing, and tapping into parasympathetic nervous system. Because we, again, like Carla said, we run on rush sympathetic nervous system all the time, rushing from one place to another. So we're always on the go, like the tiger chasing you. But if you tap into your parasympathetic nervous system, you tell your body to calm down, rest and digest, and slow down your breathing, then we can balance out our nervous system to be more calming and slowing down. And you can actually do breath work anywhere you like, slowing down your breathing, doing light breathing, noticing the nervous system, and just tapping in whenever you're stressed, or even if you're not stressed. So I talk about, if you do breath work once a day, let's say first thing in the morning, that is amazing, even if it's 5 minutes. If you can do it again middle of the day, it's like 2 times a day, that is even better. If you can do it again in the evening or before bedtime 3 times a day, that is better. So all you have to do is, even 1 minute is great, 5 minutes will be awesome. So learning to slow down your breathing, breathe in for 5 counts, breathe out for 5 counts. 1 minute is great, 5 minutes is awesome. You can do it when you're driving. You don't have to do breath holds. You can just do breathe in for 5 seconds, out for 5 seconds. Just slowing down, telling yourself you are safe, your nervous system is fine. And if you keep doing that, when you're stressed, you can, I was practicing it, and let's take it out. Let's say you're driving and people cut in front of you, and then you can just go, slow down your breathing, in for 5 counts, out for 5 counts. Doesn't matter if they cut in front of me, it's okay. Then you can just practice doing that anytime you like.
I think as well, like, some people say, I haven't got time. And I think partly it is about prioritizing, but also having been in a situation where I had really bad fibromyalgia and 2 special needs kids, I get it. Like, there literally are times in your life that you just don't have time. So in those instances, what I say is just do it in the moments that normally you would be waiting for something. So there are always times you're on hold on the phone, you're waiting in the doctor's surgery, the kettle's boiling, whatever it is, like the times that you would normally go, oh, I've got 30 seconds, I'm going to look at my phone. Everyone has time to check their phone, but do you have time for breathing? Do you know what I mean? So even if you want to multitask, even just do it whilst you're doing something else. So I've created a situation, I'm a bit like Pavlov's dogs, right? I get in my car and I think breathing, because every time I get in the car, I consciously slow my breathing down. I'm clearly still driving, I'm focusing, I'm alert, I'm not like in meditation land, but I am slowing my breath down very consciously. So now every time I get in my car, I just think, slow my breathing. So it can be anything. It can be multitasking. It can be when you're waiting for something. It can be instead of the glance at the phone. It can be you're sitting on the toilet. It can be anything. Just fit it in there wherever you can. If you want to do like a chunk, like what Avi's talking about, like morning and middle of the day and the evening, try and link it to something else. Because I bet I don't have to remind any of you to clean your teeth, because you have a routine. You know when you do it. Make it like your teeth. Link it to something, right? I'm going to do it. I literally do it first thing in the morning. I get up, make myself a cup of tea, go outside, sit down, do my breathing. That's just literally the first thing I do. So it's not like, should I do my breathing today? It's like, no, that's literally the first thing I do. And then, if you wanted to do it in the middle of the day, like link it to something, okay, before lunch or after lunch, or in the evening, maybe do it when you're in bed, maybe do it before dinner, just link it. That's a way to make sure that it happens.
Absolutely. That's called habit stacking. And you can read books about atomic habits, and there's ways on how to build your habits from one to another. So there's 3 more pillars, but we're actually not as much time
We've
as
got 5 minutes. We can go quickly.
So the fourth pillar is exercise and movement, which we all know is important to your health. And strength training and moving, walking is so important. So when you're after 30-year-old, I don't think there's anyone younger than 30, we're all losing our muscles, unfortunately. Every year you'll be losing muscles if you're after 30. So we need to build muscles by lifting weights and strength training. Unfortunately, walking isn't strength training. Walking has got a lot of benefits, but if you're just walking, that is not strength training. So I talk about just doing some easy squats, easy push-ups. Maybe not this table.
Against the wall, maybe.
Yeah, so you can do wall push-ups, you can do chair push-ups, you can build it up easily, even if it's 15 minutes twice a week. That's all you need to do strength training. And then picking some activities that you like to do. I go running and I've run a couple of marathons. Or you can do cycling, you can do pickleball, you can go to the gym and have a community connection with people that you like to catch up with. Just pick some easy movement that you can go and move your body, or just some shakes and body weights.
And I just want to point out as well that muscle is super important for glucose regulation. So it's funny, like pretty much all the pillars actually help with glucose regulation. But if you have muscle, it's what they call a glucose sink. So most cells need insulin to tell the cell to take the glucose, but muscles just soak it all up with a different receptor. So they don't actually need insulin to do that. So the first place that the glucose is going to go is into the muscle. So the more muscle you have, the more glucose it will take up. And so the more energy it will burn, and also the more even your glucose level will be, the lower your insulin will be. Like there's just so many add-on effects just from having muscle.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to mention helping with as we age and not, falling over and breaking bones and things like that.
So many people have not enough muscles, and
Yeah.
you don't eat enough protein, and you're not strength training, your muscles will go down, and if you get sick, you'll be losing more muscles.
Yeah.
Number 5 is community support, because having a community is so much more support for you to lead a healthy lifestyle, like we talk about. And I've set up Low Carb Melbourne, which we meet up in a low carb restaurant in Templestowe once a month. And then I've got a free community on Facebook. You're most welcome to join. If you can ask me a bit later. And having good friends who are in the same boat and doing the same journey, so important. And having an accountability buddy is so much helpful to go on the journey together.
They do say as well, they've done research and they show that basically your health is going to be very closely linked to the people that you spend the most time with, because it's very easy to fall into the norm of your social group. So if you want to be healthy, hang around with healthy people. That doesn't mean that you get rid of all your friends, but it does mean that maybe you do join a group of people who, in the gym or a low carb group like we're part of, or whatever it is, like be around those people that inspire you, that make you feel like what you're doing is worthwhile, is right. Especially if you're low carb, that can be quite sort of not alienating, but a lot of people don't really understand it. And so if you're with a whole bunch of other people that don't look at you funny when you go to a restaurant and say, I won't have the toast with that, or hold the fries, then you just feel better about yourself, and it's easier to keep going.
It's hard because the whole society everywhere is carbs, whereas a lot of us just mostly protein and above ground veggies, and we just take the toast away, take the rice away, take the noodles away. It is a hard lifestyle to do, and having the surrounding with the like-minded people is so important. So well done to all of you for coming into this expo and learning about health.
One more pillar
is understanding addictions, because some people have addictions, and we all understand about alcohol addiction, drug addiction. Those people can't have alcohol and they can't have drugs. But not enough people talk about processed foods and sugar addiction. These people, they have the chemicals in the sugar and the processed food actually light up the brain, and they can't help themselves. And maybe these people need to understand that it's not their brain power, it's the chemicals that make them addicted to those sugary or processed foods. And when they start, they can't stop. It is actually literally out of their willpower. It's not just about controlling that I just have 1 or 2 Tim Tams and not eat the whole packet, they really can't stop because it lights up like drug signals in their brain that they really can't control themselves.
So I think it's important to note that not everybody is addicted to sugar and refined carbohydrates, but that doesn't mean that if you are, it's not real. So in the same way that I can have one drink and not keep going, an alcoholic can't do that. So it's about acknowledging, right, okay, I know that, when I have this food, I can't stop. So this is not good for me because this is my brain, dopamine alert, going crazy. And so sometimes it sounds crazy, but sometimes it's easier to take a food away completely than to moderate it. But we've all been taught everything in moderation. But actually, for a lot of people, that's not helpful. It's actually harder. And so many people I work with, they say to me, but I've tried this, but I just have a little bit. But they can't have a little bit. And I say, just try not having it all. And then they're like, a couple of weeks later, they're like, oh my God, the food noise is gone. It's so much easier. So, if this is you, like recognize it and try and cut it out. And it will be really hard at first, but it will get easier. And there is so much more to this, but we don't have time.
Yes.
So we need to wrap it up.
If you want to learn more, you can come and buy my book for $25. And I've got this low carb made easy for $15. And Carla and I have packaged our services together. We call it the Metabolic Makeover Program. This Metabolic Makeover Program, the value is about $1,400, but we're doing it for $999. And if you contact us within this week, we're going to give you a free session with me and Carla. So tell us about this program.
So basically it's a way to get sort of 2 heads on your problem rather than just one. So you'll have a couple of sessions with Avi and then you'll have 4 sessions with me, plus the extra ones. And plus there's online support as well. And it really just means that we work as a team to help you with your metabolic health. So we talk about all the things that we've talked about today, but how they relate to you as an individual and your metabolic health and lifestyle.
And I do a blood test and check your metabolic health, checking the fasting insulin, inflammatory markers, diabetes, and the ratio of the cholesterol. So a whole lot more blood tests than your usual GP would like to do before Medicare strangles them. So that's how we offer, and you can come and talk to us in the stand out there until 5 o'clock.
And we're also offering free glucose and ketone testing at our table. If you want to just see where you are at the moment, come and say hi.